Sure, I just want to welcome the mayor, Senator Blumenthal, members of the council. Thank you, media. Thank you all for being here. We had a tough morning this morning at approximately 1:30 a.m. Bridgeport Police Department responded to a call, multiple guns fire in the area of Asylum and Plymouth Street. Upon arrival, officers encountered a chaotic scene in front of 18 Plymouth Street with multiple people suffering from what appear to be gun wounds to either their legs and one to the jaw area. Some of the victims were transported immediately to local hospitals. A total of 13 victims. Most of the victims thus far have been released. 8 of them have gone home. We have 4 left for observation, and 1 remains in critical condition at Yale New Haven Hospital. So what happened? This is what we know. 18 Plymouth Street, they were having a house party. It appears that they had at one point come to the police department and attempted to apply for a permit, which was denied. It was denied because they wanted to sell alcohol and charge for the party. So we frown upon that, and we do not allow those kind of parties to go on. So the permit at that time was denied. Nevertheless, they went ahead and they had this party, and as far as we know, and it's so open for investigation, and I'll return it over to Captain Fitzgerald. He will expand on it, but it appears that 2 perpetrators hid behind bushes on the side of the house, and while the party was going on, they opened fire with multiple firearms. Like I said, the 13 people shot in the hospital. Very chaotic. It was a nightmare for us. We are currently gathering information, evidence, information. If anyone has any information, please contact the Bridgeport Police Department. We have a tip line. Our number is 203-576-8477. 203-576-8477. We have also stepped up patrols in the area, and we're running proactive patrols again. I am very confident, and I say this with full confidence because I believe in the Bridgeport Police Department, the men and women that work here. We're going to have an arrest in this matter in the very near future. At this time, I would like to have the Mayor Joseph Gamm.
Yeah, and again, I'll be brief. I think, apologize for trying to shave with my left hand, but it's an important press conference for us to show our concern, our solidarity, to disseminate as much information as we can through the media to people, especially those that have information they can provide to assist. This department does a tremendous job, and I think the chief highlighted the fact that not only did they not want this to happen, but a permit was requested and wasn't given, yet people went ahead and, as you can see, in harm's way. A horrendous act that has unfortunately impacted so many people and put at least one maybe's life at risk, although it appears that, God willing, we won't have a fatality. The department can use your assistance, so those that have information, if you can assist the Bridgeport Police Department, it would go a long way to helping us solve this and prevent these types of things from happening in Bridgeport or anywhere. We have our senator with us, who has not only been a leader nationally, but has helped us so many times in so many ways locally on law enforcement and so many other issues, especially in the issue of too many guns being out in the street, which is a problem here. I want to turn it over to Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor, for your leadership on gun violence prevention and within the city of Bridgeport in combating crime. And thanks to the Bridgeport Police Department and your leadership. They are on top of this, as you can see, energetically and passionately to find the animal who committed this atrocious act of criminality. A couple of quick points. First of all, I have pledged that the federal law enforcement resources available will be at the ready. There's going to be a meeting this afternoon with the Federal Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. The guns have yet to be recovered, but that is one of the primary investigative tasks that needs to be accomplished. The federal government will be ready, willing, and able to assist in whatever way is necessary. But there is a larger point here. The city of Bridgeport has been energetic in seeking to stop gun violence and take guns away from dangerous criminals and others who are a jeopardy to themselves or the community because they have firearms. As strong and energetic as Bridgeport is in seeking to combat gun violence, it is, in a sense, at the mercy of the trafficking and trade in guns that deluges the streets of Bridgeport with firearms. Whether these guns were lost, stolen, bought, gun violence clearly has to be an objective of Congress. Congress is complicit in this kind of violence by its inaction. And I want to renew my pledge, and I know I'm joined by the whole delegation, that we're going to seek to adopt common sense measures to stop gun violence. In the meantime, my heart goes out to the young woman who still is in New Haven, Yale New Haven Hospital. She came literally within millimeters of death from the weapon that was fired of her. The gun almost hit her aorta. And as it is, her face and jaw will need surgery. And that is the kind of trauma and tragedy we want to avoid. More trauma and tragedy this day in Bridgeport, more evidence of the need for gun violence prevention, more reason that our hearts should go out to the victims all around this country and our great state of Connecticut. Thank you, Chief, for your great work here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dick. You want to add, is there any background?
You want to add something?
Yeah, if they have any specific questions.
Yeah, why don't you come on up? If there's any specific police questions, it must be most appropriate for you and the chief.
Sorry about it. I got it. Sure, it's fine. Yes, good.
Okay, so
Yeah, if anybody has any
Anybody-
specific questions, I might be able to answer.
Do you have a motive?
We're still looking at that right now. The majority of last night was spent responding to and trying to manage a very chaotic scene, what was initially a very chaotic scene. After that, we had victims that were transported by private vehicle and by ambulance to both hospitals in the city. So we actually had to call in another squad of detectives from home just to be able to manage that and locate all the victims, identify them, and get initial statements from them. The rest of the night was spent processing the crime scene, collecting evidence, photographing, measuring, as we would normally do in a major crime like this. Today, our detectives will be out at the scene, recanvassing, trying to interview people who didn't answer their door last night at 5 o'clock in the morning, looking for video, looking for more evidence that we may have missed in the dark last night, although we do think that we got it all, and then exploring other investigative methods to try to determine A, a motive, and B, who was responsible.
The initial release mentioned at least 2 shooters. At this time, do you believe that there were more people involved, or you all believe it was 2 people?
Right now, the evidence supports the fact that there were 2 shooters involved, but we're open to the possibility that there may be more shooters.
Can you characterize the party? Was it a family party, a group of teenagers?
It was not a family party. We're looking through social media now just to see what evidence that we can find. These parties go out on Facebook a lot and through Instagram, and so that's how a lot of people end up at the parties. That's how we end up with a lot of conflict, because so many people know about it. You either have rival factions or people from different geographical areas that come to the parties, and then disputes erupt. The evidence right now suggests that this was a party for profit. So we're going to be speaking to victims and witnesses and partygoers again today to try to gather more details and hopefully probable cause to lodge criminal charges against the people that did throw the party.
So they were charging for alcohol at the bar?
That's what we believe. We're going to be working on that today.
Do you have the names of the people posted card?
We do. We'll put that out later at some time. Yeah.
Do you have an age range on the victims?
Mostly 18 to 24.
Any leads on the suspects from eyewitnesses, a description?
No, unfortunately, because the way the chief described it, where the assailants went into an adjacent yard and fired through some hedges that were about 6 feet tall, and it's very dark back there. Right now, we don't have any witnesses that have come forward to say they saw the shooters, just that they heard what everybody initially thought was fireworks, and that added to the confusion because there was a DJ there playing loud music, and we had what we believe is in excess of 100 partygoers. So people initially thought it was fireworks. By some witness accounts, even the DJ said, "Don't worry about it, it's fireworks," until people started realizing they were shot.
Any surveillance from the neighborhood, homes nearby?
We have detectives out there right now that are looking at that.
Is there a chance that these shooters were at the party at some point?
It's a possibility that we're open to. We just don't know at this point.
Any idea how many people attended this party?
Over 100.
Teenagers?
Yeah,
young-
teenagers and young adults. Yeah.
Size, caliber was used?
Large size caliber handgun rounds.
How many rounds were fired?
We recovered 10 shell casings so far, but we're open to the possibility that other weapons were used that didn't eject shell casings, like revolvers.
Do you know how many guns or firearms they've been?
We have evidence to suggest at least 2 right now, but we're looking into the possibility of more.
Sir, can you just give us your name?
That's Captain Brian Fitzgerald.
Is this the worst shooting in Bridgeport history?
You know, I wouldn't feel comfortable commenting on that. In recent history, it's, you know, by the amount of victims hit. But fortunately, in this case, most of them sustained non-life-threatening wounds to their lower extremities. And as the chief mentioned, most were discharged last night or early this morning.
All parties cooperating?
Most of our victims are cooperative, and we have some witnesses at the scene that are cooperative. Unfortunately, the information they're able to provide us as of last night wasn't that helpful, because most people didn't see much.
It's the same game, and I didn't know.
We're open to that possibility. It's just too early to say.
Do you all believe the suspects fled on foot, arrived in a vehicle? Any indication that there was a vehicle in the area?
We don't know yet. The street was crowded. We don't believe they would have parked right at the scene, but through our investigative efforts, we'll try to determine whether or not they fled the area completely on foot or got into a vehicle at some point.
Have they had parties at this location before?
Yes, not this year. In previous years, we've had some incidents with parties.
Same people that lived in the building?
That's correct, yeah. It's a duplex house, a brick duplex.
It's a rental?
I'm not sure. We haven't gotten that far yet. Yeah.
If you want to, any of the council people would like to add anything, please feel free. You want to come up? Okay.
Good job.
If there's any other police questions, we'll answer them too, but remember the city council.
First off, I want to say, you know, sad day for Bridgeport, but I thank the chief and the men and women of his department, Captain Fitzgerald, who I've been in contact with from late last night into early this morning. Full faith that the Bridgeport Police Department will do all its efforts to find out who committed this horrible crime and bring them to justice. Like the mayor and the chief said, if anyone has any tips, please call. Please, anything, you know, even if it's the littlest of thing that you think is not important, please give a call. Every little detail is important. Thank you.
Can you give me a title and name for you?
City Councilman Anthony Paoletto.
Detective, I had another question for you.
It's actually captain, but that's
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to get it all the time.
Apologize. You mentioned a large group of people, about 100 people. I mean, it's a small space back there. Regardless of the permit for alcohol, is that allowed? I mean, that many people in that kind of space? And did you all receive any calls prior in the evening for noise or a disturbance of any kind?
Sure, we looked at that last night, and we did not receive any calls prior to the shots fired about noise complaints or complaints of overcrowding at this house. As far as whether it's legal to have that many people on a piece of property, I'm not aware. of any state law, city ordinance that regulates the amount of people that are allowed on a property. But certainly, once they're selling alcohol and running this party for profit, there are some criminal laws that may have been violated.
Do you know when that party started? How long has it been going on?
We don't know yet. Yeah.
The only thing I would say is Av Harris is certainly coordinating communications, I think, with all media outlets. If there's any concerns, please get, or further information that we have that we can put out, we'll get out there. Like, you know, anything that would be kind of material with regards to people's recoveries or anything that might certainly be of interest to the public in general, or with regards to anything with regards to apprehensions. And the department certainly, as you know, is committed to working, as they have so well in the past, diligently and bring closure to important cases like this. Lastly, just to reiterate, I don't have the number, but I want to say it one more time. If you have the number, this could really help in any way that you can fit this into your dissemination of information. We would love to have repeat 203-576-8477 is a confidential line that you can provide information to the Bridgeport Police Department. If you're outraged as we are, the only way to be of assistance is to provide any information that you might have, whether you think it's useful or not. Again, it's 576-8477. Thank you very much. Any follow-up questions you can ask, I'm sure, the captain or the chief or any of us, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr.